The UK government has just officially killed off internet privacy in the country by putting into effect their Online Safety Act, which was originally drafted back in 2023. If we take a look at the explainer on gov.uk, it says that the act is a new set of laws that protects children and adults online. So once again, we have a government attempting to control online speech and access to information under the guise of protecting the children. I guess that wrapping is more appealing to people than the anti-terrorism one. Now, online platforms are going to be required to prevent children from accessing harmful and age-inappropriate content and provide parents and children with clear and accessible ways to report problems online when they do arise. Now, you might be wondering, how exactly are the platforms supposed to go about preventing children from accessing this material? And well, they're going to be required to do the same thing that pubs, smoke shops, and car rental places have been doing for decades, which is check the IDs of all of their patrons to make sure that they're actually of age. Now, this is obviously a major privacy issue because if you have to show your ID just in order to access information online, then anonymity goes completely out the door. But it also opens up the door to massive abuse by so many of these online platforms that make billions of dollars off of harvesting and selling data about people. Like if you use Google, for example, they already track all of your searches that you make. Even if you aren't logged into your Google account, they track the searches that are made from your IP address. They can also use geolocation to figure out where you physically made those searches from. And assuming you aren't using a VPN or some other means to spoof your location, you're not at a friend's house making all your sussy Google searches. But even without those protections, Google doesn't exactly know who you are. They don't know where you live, they don't know what your face looks like, or any of those data points that somebody would be able to obtain from viewing your ID. But obviously, if you have to show your papers every single time you want to watch some brain rot on YouTube or Google how to do something, then Google is going to know exactly who you are, and they're going to add those data points to their targeted ad networks. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if these companies would start mailing people advertisements, like just classic junk mail, to people's houses with AI-generated photos of them holding some product that they want them to buy, like saying, "See, can't you picture yourself being happy after buying a brand new Plumbus? This could be you right now. Go ahead and buy our product." Now, some of you more clever users might be thinking, okay, well, why don't I just use a VPN to make it look like I'm accessing YouTube or whatever website I want to access from another country that doesn't have these laws? Well, of course, the UK government thought of that too. Many platforms like YouTube have actually started refusing to show content to anyone that they believe to be using a VPN or a proxy, and the UK made this really convenient for them because obviously these sites don't want you using a VPN despite how many ads that you see for them on here. But instead of Google just saying, "Oh, we're greedy fucks that desperately need to track everything you do down to your IP address," they could just say that they're blocking VPNs now in order to comply with UK laws. See guys, we're not the ones doing it. Oh, the UK, they're forcing us to. Okay, so let's play devil's advocate for a moment here and pretend like the UK is really doing all of this to protect the hecking children and not increase their control over speech and data. For one, the Parliament or whatever the hell kind of government they have over there should probably focus on the grooming gangs that literally abduct children off the streets. The UK has failed time and time again to address this. At least this is how it looks from my dumb American perspective. I just read news headlines. I'm not actually over there seeing what goes on. Now, I hate all forms of predators, but I still think that these scumbags, like a predator that abducts children, that physically abuses them and then tries to traffic them, is a whole lot worse than a Discord mod that tries to groom kids online and get them to send him lewd photos. So it looks like the UK government is stepping over these huge mountains, these huge problems, to address the little molehills online. Now, one of the primary purposes of this bill, and where I think the government, maybe means well, again, I'm playing devil's advocate here, the real purpose is for them to control online speech and data, is them trying to block children from accessing online pornography. Because I don't think that content is really good for anyone at all, because it warps the mind's view on sex and relationships, especially when the mind is a young developing one. And blocking access to porn without age verification is actually something that my home state of Virginia has done as well. But here's the problem. Here's the big issue that the boomer governments that are making all of these decisions don't seem to realize. The only porn sites that actually bother complying with these laws are the big ones like Pornhub, Xhamster, and pretty much everything that's owned by MindGeek or some other major porn corporation. And for what it's worth, those companies at least put some effort into making sure that the content that's uploaded to their platforms is not illegal. The same can't be said for the random guy that's running a porn site off of some web server in Vietnam who isn't even bothering to check if the people in the videos are of age, consenting, and not being human trafficked. Now, maybe you're thinking that the UK could just go ahead and block all of those more shady websites. Well, good freaking luck with that. I've seen studies that have shown that as much as 30% of internet traffic online is in some way related to pornography. There's a whole lot of smut sites out there, and there's no way that any government is going to be able to block them all unless they go full North Korea and just block everybody from being able to access the rest of the global internet. Okay? Or maybe you're thinking that those more extreme websites, they're only going to be used by the hardcore gooners. There's no way that my little Timmy is going to be watching videos on chucksfuckingsuck.biz. Really? Do you honestly think that the government is so good at being a parent for you that they're going to stop little Timmy from finding boobs on the internet? I'll tell you what. Keep letting little Timmy keep his iPad in his room all alone unsupervised, and when he's inevitably suffering from a Futanari addiction in his early 20s, you can go ahead and send me a check for the sum of his college tuition that you've been saving up. I mean, he's not going to need it anyway, because all of the parts of his brain that would have been dedicated to higher learning and things like that are going to be combed out into his old sock before he's even old enough to drive. So what is the real solution here? Well, I guess there's two solutions we need here. So the solution for concerned parents that may have supported this, I mean, I don't know if people actually ended up voting for this or not, but maybe they did, thinking that it's going to save their kids from becoming gooners, is to just step up, to be a parent, and stop voting for the government to do your parenting for you, because it's never going to work. If you want to block porn, the best solution is to set up local block filters on your Wi-Fi. Oh, but I don't know how to do that. Not everybody's as good with technology as you. Fine, then just take the low-tech approach. Stop letting your kids have unrestricted access to the smartphone and the tablet. I personally don't even think that kids having phone is a good thing anyway, and I don't believe the cope that so many parents tell me saying, oh, but little Timmy needs a phone so that I know where he is and so that he's not getting hurt. Then what do you do when little Timmy lies to you? I mean, it's much easier for him to lie to you over a text or a phone call. Him just having a phone doesn't really keep him safe or let you know where he is. And if you really just wanted to track his location, like if you really just want to know where he is at all times, just put an Apple tag on his keychain and boom, that way you know, and he's probably not going to figure out how to spoof his location and lie to you that way. And if he really does need a phone, because I mean, there's some circumstances, like maybe he plays sports and the practice runs late, or the coach has to take the kids to a different field because someone forgot to mow the grass, then okay, he can tell you where he is. He can pick up a phone that somebody else has. I mean, they have phones at the school. Or if you really just want him to have a phone, a cell phone for, some emergency that maybe a cell phone would actually solve, then just give him a simple flip phone. He doesn't need an iPhone 15s Max. It's going to save you a whole lot of money, and there's zero risk of him becoming a gooner with the flip phone. And as for the grown folks who just simply don't want to show their ID to access content on the internet, I mean, it's understandable. I think it's honestly time that we bring back LAN parties. If the UK ends up getting really good at VPN whack-a-mole, because that's what the strategy is going to be now, is figuring out what VPNs you can actually use, what VPNs are not being blocked by YouTube, Facebook, or whatever, so that you can actually view your content. So when it does inevitably come down to that, it's going to be one of the only options, those local LAN parties, to access what you need. So if you're a data hoarder that's living in the UK, you've got a great opportunity on your hands here to make a whole lot of new friends or customers, however you decide to distribute your treasure trove of data that you saved before the curtain finally came down. If you enjoyed this video, please like and share it to hack the algorithm, and check out my online store, based.win, where you can get awesome merch like this Libre t-shirt that I'm wearing right now, or accessories for your phone or laptop. 10% store-wide discount when you pay with Monero XMR at checkout. Have a great rest of your day.